Hey everyone, welcome back. Our next guest is a Jamaican American contemporary painter and illustrator whose work is described as mixed media abstractions, focusing on Black expression and telling stories about the first generation American experience, mental health, and love, with a repetitive nature that carries through her work, representing a kind of ever-changing self-portrait. And here now to tell us more is contemporary painter and illustrator Diana Carla Rowe.
Hi.
I hope they even understood all of that because it was like poetry.
Thank you. I do write, so that I don't know why. That could be why my artist statement sounds like that. Yeah.
It's lovely though. It's lovely.
Thank you.
It's lovely.
Thank you.
I mean, I get it. I get the whole vision of the I want to say the visuals kind of looking like the same person, but evolving into shifting, possibly into different moods and different places and different sizes.
Yeah, and different emotions. It's kind of like I feel like when I'm painting or when I'm drawing, I want everyone to be like, I've identified with that emotion before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it isn't even like exact, right? It's like space that it kind of like, I don't know, it's almost like a bubble. Anyway, it's definitely mesmerizing. It's
Thank
definitely
you.
captivating, and it's definitely something that you can get lost in, right?
Yes.
And so before we got on air, we started talking about your whole process and how you got to where you are now. And for you guys, I just gave you the description of her work, but this Miss Diana Carla Rowe is like no joke when it comes to the business aspect of it. And we must share that with our viewers because it's very impressive.
Thank you. So I'll kind of just jump into it. So I was working at Neiman Marcus as like a stylist, and I would show them my work just for fun because I was selling my work, but it was kind of just to friends who were interested. So I've been showing them my work for about a year or so, and then they were like, "Hey,
how long ago was this before we start?"
This was 2019, I believe. Yeah,
okay.
2019. And this was in Austin, by the way, Austin, Texas.
Okay.
So I was showing them my work, and they had this opportunity for a local artist. They were gonna choose someone from University of Texas, but they were like, "We really love your work. We'll give you the supplies, like we'll pay, blah, blah, blah. And we'll give you this opportunity. Your name will be on the window. We'll dress the mannequins according to what you create." And I was like, oh my God, it's like, yes, I will take any opportunity I can get. And so we did that. And then an agency reached out to me about, I don't know, like a month later. And they're like, "Hey, we have this really great commercial kind of opportunity for you." And I was just thinking, and I was like, commercial, like, I don't know, like, I don't know if that's what I'm looking for. But then I kind of, right? Yeah, it's a hard thing to do because you really want, as an artist, to curate how people see you.
Right.
And it can get lost in translation when you just create so much, like mass production, I guess.
Right. Yeah, and not only mass production according to what is going to be sold.
Right, exactly.
Because now it's kind of, you've got these confinements.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and that's something I deal with when people reach out to me as well, but that's another story.
Right.
But yeah, so then they told me, they were like, "Let's look at this contract, blah, blah, blah. We'll take a cut, blah, 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 and this will be great." And this was, it's a agency I go through called Wexel Art in Texas. And they were like, "Yeah, the commercial client is Home Goods." And I was like, "Home Goods? That's insane." Like, yes. Like, yes. I went from, so my first original painting I sold for $180. Right. And it was like a 48 by 48 painting, which is pretty huge. So for me, I was like, mass produced, like, yes. So they ended up mass producing one of the canvases out of the Neiman Marcus window. And so that was pretty lucrative. And I was like, okay, this is good. And then, so I had already been planning to move to New York through this stylist job because I knew they were opening a location in New York. So I was like, okay, let me really work hard to get this transfer. And so I was working there for about a year at the time, and I asked for the transfer, and they were like, "Let me look at your sales, blah, blah, blah." And then I moved to New York, and then the pandemic happened.
Right.
And I was kind of still painting, but not really. I was kind of just like still getting the money from the home goods thing. So it wasn't like my top priority to paint, and I already had a full-time job. Fast forward, pandemic, we get laid off.
Right.
They give us a severance, which
Uh-huh.
was, admirable for a company. Some companies don't do that. They gave
Right.
me severance. I took the severance. I was like, what can I do with this to like really, and everyone was in limbo at that point. So I was like, everyone's in limbo. It's not just me. I won't feel so alone. So I
Right.
took my severance. I got a little studio space in Greenpoint. And I was like, yeah, I can start from here.
Brooklyn, right?
Brooklyn, yeah. And then at that time, I had like 1,000 followers on Instagram, I think. And I made a post because I have a lot of friends that have like 25K. So I made a post and I was like, hey guys, I'm a full-time artist now. Like, commission me, share my work if you can't afford it, like blah, blah. And yeah. And then I found one client who bought 3 canvases for me. And then a few months later, she was like, I really love your work. I would love to connect you with another person of color who has a store in the Hamptons to see if you guys could collaborate together or work together. I was like, yeah, sure. So we had a Zoom meeting, and then she was like, yeah, I'd love to sell your work. And so I was like, okay, let's get to it. And so I was in the studio for months and months, kind of like seeing, because she sent me photos of the store. So I wanted to be intentional for her, because I didn't want to just send her whatever I had. Because at that time I was still figuring out if I was going the direction of mass producing or originals only. And so, yeah, I sent her about, I think, 8 pieces. And that was in last year?
Well, we're in 2022. So was it 2020 or 2021?
It was 2021.
Okay.
That the Hamptons thing happened. So I sent her all of my work in, I think, August. And there's 2 left out of all of them. And I was able to, so I told her my pricing and she was like, no, we're going to double it. So I was able to double my prices.
Okay, so can we just talk about what that pricing looks like? I just want to, you know why?
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
You already shouted out what you were selling them for, and now that price in mass production is probably doubled, right? And then so the originals is a whole nother ballgame. So what are these?
Yeah, okay. So originally, when I started and I did the whole post, I was doing commissions like 30 by 30s for $500, which is like underselling myself. But I was like, I'm starting out, let me just get a feel for what I'm doing. And so then I started selling it for 1,000. And so me doubling my prices now looks like I sold a 48 by 72 for 3,500. I sell my 30 by 30s for 1,800, 1,750, stuff like that. And I'm looking at an increase again soon. So yeah. And right now I have about 3 paintings that I just shipped to her, and they're like 3K each. So yeah, so it went from $180 to being able to sell my work for 3,500 and so on and so forth.
I mean,
also,
yeah, I'm over here giggling in awe over your journey. You know why? Because it's important for artists to hear what we're discussing, right? Because you still do have the mass production aspect of it, because your stuff being sold, your prints are being sold at Home Goods.
Yeah. And also, so you're able to control what you put out. You don't have to give the agency everything. I've given them 2 prints in the last 3 years. And yeah, their account with Home Goods through me so far has made over like 20K.
Okay.
Just from mass producing.
Amazing. And congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Right. Before we go, I want to talk about the fact that your work is also identifiable. I want to make sure that our audience understands that not only were you able to design a business off of your artistry, which is awesome.
Thank you.
You also have a mark. You have something special in which people can see it and identify and connect it to you.
Yes. Yeah, I kind of started that because I was always interested in self-portraits, and I thought, what can like allow me to like kind of free myself from this need of perfection? Because before this, I was doing realism. And with realism, it's like, if it's not perfect, it's not good. And so I needed to release myself from that idea of being a good artist, because when you're jogging, are you like, am I a good jogger? Like, no, you just jog, you just do it. And so I kind of released myself from the idea of being a good artist, and also like, what does good Black art look like? And does it have to be controversial? Does it have to talk about like oppression and all these other things? I think we can talk about that through the lens of emotion rather than it being like out there and present. So I always talk about like me being a Black artist in itself and succeeding is the conversation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. I
Yeah.
do. I do. And it's visible in your work. And I could see how it is abstract, but it's something relatable
Right.
at
Thank
the
you.
same time.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 No, I'm in all over you because I mean, what we didn't
Thank you
share
so
was
much.
the place. Yes, we didn't share the name of the place that's selling your stuff exclusively, the Matriarch, right? You said,
Yes, in the Hamptons,
and it's a person
Sag
of,
Harbor.
yeah, huh?
Yeah, it's a person of color who owns it, and she exclusively works with women and predominantly women of color. And she works with small businesses, so she's amazing. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Well, congratulations and
Thank
thank
you
you
so much. Thank
for this
you.
inspiring story with our viewers,
Thank you.
and of course for birthing your artwork into the world and making it accessible to all.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
We appreciate you. All right, everybody. That's Diana Carla Rowe. And once again, you know, her prints are available through Home Goods, and her exclusive paintings at the Matriarchs in the Hamptons. And of course, if you want to just access her directly, you can always go to her website, which is dianacarlarowe.com. And don't forget, check her out on Instagram at
Thank
Diana
you.
Carla Rowe. All right, stay tuned because Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.